the Fandom Zone. And tonight we got some great topics to talk about. And I'm just going to shamelessly toot my horn here. If you guys were over at Thomas's stream, I'd just like to point out that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said I suck. Thank you, Senate. I know you'll be popping in for getting that. And yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And I know that he's mentioned me because I helped Josiah Rises, if you remember Squirrel, with that with that problem he had with the video getting pulled down from the gaming convention.
Oh yeah, such
so
nonsense.
it's kind of weird. We were talking about that behind the green room. So we're like the little late night show that could.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, I want to shout out Thomas Gerke's channel. If you guys aren't subbed to him, go subscribe to him. Thomas is a great guy. Since I've been in the collective, and I guess part of the Phantom Menace. He's a really great guy. He comes in and he just starts linking people, and he's just a really great guy. So go over there and check out his channel. And so tonight we got some great topics. We have the rest of the crew coming in here shortly. The lonely sheriff will be here. PB is lurking in the chat, so he'll be here shortly. And yeah, we got some just really hilarious topics. I don't want to cover our first one yet, but let you introduce yourself. Madam Squirrel.
Yes, Matt Squirrel. You can find me on YouTube under Matt Squirrel. On Twitter, on Twitter you can find me under SGT Matt Squirrel. So yes, there's my plug of the day. I should have the video up next week. Still getting the last coordinates. We had some technical difficulties on the West Coast. So they're getting that resolved, and hopefully I'll be able to get that roundtable done. Pretty excited about that, especially with all the craziness that's going on on the West Coast up there in Portland this weekend. Hello. I'm like, what happened? And it was just, I guess there was a bunch of protests in quotations and a lot of rioting going on between Antifa and the Proud Boys group. And that's because I didn't know what the hell was going on. So it's a very interesting time. It seems like Portland's become the epicenter for absolute shit show. So,
yeah.
Politically, especially. I'm like, what is this crap? But anyway, but yeah, that's about it going on over here as far as that goes. How are you, sir?
I am good. Definitely getting better by the day. A lot of things happening, and I just can't. Kind of came back to it after a day off, and everybody in the chat, just to let you know, the Senate gave me his version of a shout out of sorts. So thank you, Senate, for that. I never thought I'd hear Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers say Zod sucks, so I'll take it. Greatest you suck I've heard.
It's a pleasant kind of you suck. It's like, yes, he sucks, but I've heard of him. I have respect for that. I have respect for him. I have respect for how much he sucks. Thank you, sir.
It's so weird. And, I was just like blown away. And, LB says it all the time. And, we talk about it. But, all of us YouTubers are just people in the end. But it's nice when, the bigger guys do notice the stuff that you're doing. And it's cool when they acknowledge you as a smaller channel. So it's really awesome that you guys spread the word about what we do here on the late nights. And, I do this every night for everybody in the chat.
That said it. He's already let's see here. Let's take a scroll back. Oh, welcome. I want to welcome Scott, Mr. Scott Schmear, or Lord Scott. And then we have Miss Mads Mama Bear, who is the best bear on YouTube. And I would say Twitter. Then there's Mr. Pop Culture PV. Oh, Schmear is here. Yes, he is. The Senate. Yes, sir. There's the Lord Senate. And Hyatt Wright is also here. Hello, sir. I'm trying to go through the chat here. Oh yeah, the Senate is outstanding, and he just wanted you to know, General Zod, you suck. And I can't believe I actually did it. Ha ha ha! Super chat from the Senate with fire.
Yes. No, thank you, Senate. I appreciate you throwing my name out like that, man. And the fact that Jeremy actually knew who I was kind of blew my mind, because that's like really crazy that we're gaining enough traction. But then again, we had EBS here too, so you know, it's
Oh
yeah.
God!
Ha ha ha! You're welcome. Fuck you. None but love for you, Senate. But yeah,
So,
you know, you guys have been making this show what it is. I remember, and Squirrel remembers too, when we had those days of just 5 people or 6 people. When me and PB first started our very first show, we had like 3 or 4 people just in the chat, and since then, it's really blown up, and it's really because of you guys. This show is what I've wanted it to be, which is a place where everyone can talk in the chat, they can engage with us, and we could just bullshit about bullshit that's going on.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know?
Because there's plenty of that going around, and because of so many different influences, and oh man, it's a weird time in like I think the last 10 years they've seen so much stuff change, and it's like, what the hell is in the water? And who are these people? You know, I'm like, what? Who made these kids? Whose children are these that are like being out of control and not having a gender, and people want to be toaster ovens? I don't really understand any of this shit. I really don't.
Yeah, well, you and me both, Squirrel, are in the same boat. I think it's safe to say we've come from a different era, and everyone on this panel, we're a little bit older, and we come from better days. And, you know, my heyday at least was the 90s, and, you know, mid 80s, early 90s was a great time for all of us. And then shit just went downhill in the 2000s. Well, not so much the early 2000s, but there's like 2015, 2016 is when this bullshit started happening with the Pound Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to see that we have so many people who feel the same way and engage in the things that we're talking about, because you know, that's, I remember a little sidebar while I wait for the rest of the panel to come, and you know, while we get ourselves set up here. I remember me.
I'm confused, says Mads. I'm confused. Isn't it a law in the fandom that you can't live stream with multiple people without LB? That is correct. There is a law. Yeah, he should be popping on though.
He's gonna be popping on. We have LB's blessing. Um, you you know, a little history for you guys. When me and PB first came up with these ideas, we had bonded over our mutual hatred of Game of Thrones season 8. And if you guys haven't checked out our Game of Thrones, go check out our catalog. That was when we really realized we had a mutual disdain for that, and just the way the media was going. And I remember us talking about it and going, you know what, we need to create something like a late night talk show, like back in the days when talk shows used to be good. And I wanted people to just be able to engage with each other and, you know, have a good time, have fun. You know, we always hear like safe space. I don't want to call that this, but this is a place where like-minded individuals can talk and, you know, engage. Oh, the Elder Zod is here.
Dictator. The dictator Zod is here.
Too many on screen is not good. Keep it to no more than 3. Thank you for the suggestion, but that's not how the panel works.
Hyatt Wright also made a comment. I miss doing panels with y'all. The couple we did on Jesse's channel were awesome.
Yeah, Jesse from Crow's Nest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've actually been on his stream once, and I've engaged in a lot of his live channels. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I've been on his stream one time a while ago, and it was fun. It was interesting. I haven't been on there since because it's just scheduling and time. But yeah, it's a good channel, and they have a lot of it's fun. It's fun being on those panels because you hear a lot of different things.
Yeah, they. If you guys don't know, go check out his YouTube channel. I believe it's Jesse's Crow Nest, right?
Yes, I'll pull it up.
And he's got a lot of great stuff. They're very down to earth guys. I love the days when I was hopping between streams, and now it's like, look at me now, squirrel. I gotta like schedule things and stuff. It's crazy.
Hmm.
But I don't have very much time to jump between streams anymore. But I also have an announcement while we're waiting for people. Me and Chris Knight are talking, and we're thinking of gonna do a show with him and gonna make with his gospel according to Chris. We're thinking of uh, doing a hosting thing with both of us doing that. So yeah, that's definitely coming, and we're bringing back the sub raiser. So interesting stuff ahead.
Yeah.
And tomorrow I may do an anime stream. I'm talking to Perp. I'm gonna hit him up tonight, and we're going. I want to try to do another stream called Anime Sunday, where I'm going to talk about different animes. So
That'll be interesting. I think it will.
yeah, I'm thinking for the kickoff, I want to do Akira because that was the very first anime I ever watched.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good material.
So, let's kick off our first article, and I'm just gonna kind of skip around because I found this one very interesting that you brought to us, Mad Squirrel, and it's about Harvey Weinstein. Because who doesn't like talking about that piece of crap?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he just doesn't seem to go away, does he?
No, he's like a bad plague. No, Dad, I can't talk about Animal Kingdom, and no spoilers. I just started watching it. I'm actually watching Sneaky Pete first, and thank you. That's an amazing show. And when I get a chance, I want to do something about that.
Really quick, Generation Production said, "Hey, at General Zod. Hey, in your last stream, you said you had some sad news. Just wondering if everything was okay."
Yes, Generation, thank you for asking. I had a personal event happen. A friend of mine kind of passed away, but I've been working through it. I took the night off, gathered my thoughts, and I appreciate all of you who went on Twitter and sent me love out. So thank you for that. It was much appreciated. So
Absolutely. And let's see here. Oh, Hyatt posted this link again for Jesse's Crow's Nest, Jesse Miller's Crow's Nest. Let's see here. The Senate said, "Oh, we got a super chat from Mega Jetty One. He says, "Hail, Matt Squirrel, and hail, Citizen Zod." Hello, sir.
Hello, Mega Jetty, and super chat from the Senate. All right, Thomas is uploading the stream where Jeremy says Zod sucks. Gonna clip the hell out of that. Thank you. Appreciate it. And for all of you who don't know, yes, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said I suck. Highest honor of the night. So big shout out to Geeks and Gamers and all the stuff that they do over there. I do watch their channel a lot, so. And thank you, Matt Malaver. I appreciate the hugs. You guys are all great. So let's get to our first thing, and this is probably something up your and mine alley, mad with how we feel about these things. And let's talk Harvey Weinstein. This guy's a real piece of work. So Harvey Weinstein, prosecutors make last-minute move to bolster case. And here's the thing. I don't understand why they need to bolster the case. I mean, this guy pretty much is the reason why we have this stupid Me Too movement in the first place.
Right.
So, I mean, anyways, the Manhattan's DA's office is making a last-minute bid to strengthen their case against Harvey Weinstein, who is set to be tried next month on charges of rape and sexual assault, which I'm pretty sure all of those are true, because he's a piece of crap. Prosecutors notified the court on Tuesday that they will seek a new indictment. The DA's office wants jurors to hear from Annabelle. Sir, I know I've heard this name before. Saria?
Sakura. I'm probably wrong.
Sakura, yeah.
I'm probably wrong. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, her name is hard to say.
Yeah, very Italian sounding last name. I'm probably wrong on that too, but even so, yes. Sopranos actress.
Sopranos, yeah, she's from The Sopranos. I believe she played Meadow.
Okay.
And she alleges that Weinstein raped her in 1993. Justice James Blake ruled on August 8th that Saria cannot testify against Weinstein because her allegations were not heard by a grand jury, which is total crap. Prosecutors aim to resolve the problem by presenting her testimony to a new grand jury, which would issue a superseding indictment. Weinstein is currently set to go to trial on September 9th in what surely will be one of the most high-profile criminal cases in recent memories. I do agree with that. Would you put this on the level of like the O.J. Simpson trial?
I have to make a small correction, which would issue a superseding indictment.
Indictment. Okay.
There you go. BB was like indictment. What? No. Hello, LB. He's coming in.
He's coming in. All right. What's up, LB?
Salutations, everyone.
Hello, sir.
We're talking Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. And his hopefully pending indictment coming up, and they were going to throw out the girl from The Sopranos, her testimony, but they're trying to get something to supersede that. So,
what girl from The Sopranos? There was a lot of girls in The Sopranos.
The one who played Meadow.
Oh, she's one of the victims? I didn't know.
Annabelle. Now, LB, how would you pronounce this girl's last name? Would it be Sakura, or would it be? I don't know how to pronounce that. It's Sciorra.
I think it's Shora.
Shora. Okay. I have no idea.
It's
one of those last names.
I haven't seen an episode of Sopranos since it came out. So. All right.
Oh man, you're missing just probably one of the greatest shows in television history.
No, not since it came out. I mean, since it ended.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went
evening.
back and started watching them.
Sorry. Good evening to Thomas Gilkey in chat.
Good evening, Thomas, and welcome, buddy. That was a great stream.
And also Jamie Vick. The lady Jamie Vick is in chat.
What's up, people?
Oh, Jamie Vick.
Hold on. She played Meadow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. She looks older.
It's been a while.
I don't remember. Yeah. It has been a while.
Oh, good morning to Trey Courtney.
LB.
Good evening and good morning to Trey Courtney in chat. And Perp Minded. Hello, Perp.
You're so
Yep, I was right. It's pronounced Shora.
Shora?
Shora.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Shora. Makes sense.
It is unusual for prosecutors to seek a fresh indictment so close to the trial, and the move could result in a postponement. Under the law, the defense could be entitled to 45 days to respond to the new indictment. However, Weinstein's defense
Hold up. She wasn't Meadow. She was Tony's girlfriend in season 3.
Oh.
I thought she looked kind of old. All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. However, Weinstein's defense attorney said that except that Burke is likely to resist any delays. My educated guess is that Judge Burke is going to do everything he can to have the trial start on September 9th, said Arthur Adela. Saying that right?
Or Adela or Adela, whatever.
Adela, one of Weinstein's attorneys, who added the defense team is fully litigated the issues before the trial. We're going to fight with all the muster that we have to make sure his rights are protected.
Jesus.
Weinstein is facing 5 charges of rape, sexual assault, and predatory sexual assault, stemming from allegations from 2 women. One of the accusers, Mimi Halea, alleges that Weinstein forcibly performed oral sex on her at his room in 2006. The second woman, who has not been identified, alleges that he raped her in a hotel in 2013. Sorela's allegations are 26 years old and cannot be charged due to the statute of limitations, but the DA's office wants to use her testimony to buttress the 2 charges of predatory sexual assaults. The counts allege that the defendant is a repeat offender, and proving them requires at least 2 sexual assault incidents. It is the most serious charge that Weinstein faces, carrying potential life sentence. The prosecutor's decisions to seek a new indictment suggest they believe Sorela's testimony could be essential to proving these 2 counts. Without Sorela's testimony, the jurors would have to believe both the other 2 women's accounts in order to convict. Donna Rodino, another Weinstein's attorney, told Variety she believes prosecutors want to beef up their case with a celebrity victim. I think this is about the fact that the public has heard so many things about stars and women who are known to be to the public. Renaud says, I think the jurors are going to be surprised to find out this case doesn't involve 80 women. It doesn't involve anyone that has any notoriety, because that's important. So the prosecutors feel they need someone that has kind of a name to help them on this case.
Article
Wow,
finished.
this is longer.
Yeah.
Almost.
Almost. There's more? Wow, yeah. You ain't even close to the bottom of the page. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the DA's office has also been granted permission to call additional women to testify about Weinstein's prior bad acts. That portion of the pretrial proceedings has been closed to the public, so it remains unclear who those women are or even how many of them there are. Burke has tried to hold parties on to the September 9th trial date, and the DA's office has said there is no reason to postpone the case. The DA's office said that the current grand jury terms expire on August 26th, so a superseding indictment is expected before then. That's the end of the article.
I agree with the dictator, Zod, in chat, that he'll be innocent. They'll find a way to get him out of this, and he'll still be blacklisted for a while and eventually be reintroduced under some, alias in the Hollywood industry. But I don't think he's going to get. I don't think it's going to come out to shit. If he does, oh well, so be it. But I don't believe it. They're just now it's getting into a lot of like detail orientated bullshit and just mudslinging type stuff and saying, oh well, they're trying to do this. It's making quite a bit of assumptions on part of victims, and maybe possibly there are legitimate reasons to bring those things up. But I think in the end he'll get off of these charges because I don't know. He had way too much power in that industry, and yeah, he was sacrificed at the altar of Me Too, but not enough. I think he'll bounce back in some weird ass way, and by then he'll be old as fuck, so it won't really matter. They'll just think he's a quirky guy, kind of like Roman Polanski. Oh, he's just a quirky guy.
God, Polanski. There's another little piece of work.
So, I honestly have not paid much attention to this. I mean, So I don't know about the victims and all that stuff. I just know from basic of when he first got busted, all of these actresses were coming out saying, "Oh, he forced me to rub my he forced me to rub his shoulders, or I had to. He made me take a shower and he watched." Like I only heard about that stuff. Like I haven't heard about the more serious allegations. So are they like legitimate?
There's quite a few. Yes, I know one of the women was wired. I don't know if that was the Annabelle gal or somebody else, but they were wired,
Okay.
and they got him on actual tape because she reported the assault prior, and the police put a wiretap on her, and they got quite a bit. He was basically not allowing her to leave the hotel at all, and he was forcing himself on her. Some of the other allegations had witnesses to them, which they haven't completely released. So it's a bunch of shit, dude.
Okay.
It's so crazy. So yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff came out that was legitimate, but then you do have a lot of people that, to be honest, in Hollywood, nothing surprises me that people have zero, what do you call it, ethics. They look for the clout chasing. So,
Yeah. I mean, that was exactly what I was thinking. Like with Lapita when she was talking about how she rubbed his shoulders while they was at home with the family. I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound too crazy, but hey, a lot of them was doing that at the time. So I mean, yeah, this sounds legitimate for what you say. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he goes down for his crimes.
Oh yeah, and he also, I'm sorry, Dictator.
Oh no, go ahead, man.
Dictator Zod. He pointed out also he offered her a payoff on tape. Not to basically make it into something larger. And she was already hella fucking pissed off. Otherwise, she wouldn't have gone to the police to begin with. I don't know. He's just what do you call it? Your average predatory piece of shit in Hollywood. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just the lucky winner this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never been to California. I can't say I've been around Hollywood people, but I have been around music industry people. I've been around fashion models and all of that. So all of this does go on. Like, I mean, it goes on, but I don't think it's like how the media portrays it. It's like they portray it as a one-sided thing, which is not. I mean, yeah, bad stuff goes on, but there's plenty of stuff that goes on that's both ways, and people are seeking opportunities, and it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I see it go on right now, and I'm like far removed from being in music and all that other stuff. I mean, I'm just a regular lonely man, but when I go out to places, I see people do things that you'll shake your head at for $50 because they need to pay a bill, or they think this person is going to get them to this level of what they want to do with their career. So
also, Trey Courtney in chat pointed out same thing happened with Cosby. So the fake accusations muddied the waters with real victims. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's the thing too, because I kind of wanted to add on to that, where it gets harder when you have high-profile people like this, because you have to suss out what's the BS from what's the real. And the sad part that I feel for are the victims that actually legitimately have this case. And like, it's like, where's the justice for them? Because if he gets off, they have no justice. And if he goes down from so many accusations and you have the media spinning it, in a sense, the media wins with this Me Too movement crap. So it's like, really, the overall justice in this is really in the eyes of the beholder. I mean, if you're going for the victims, the dude's definitely like as low of the low that I've seen with all of these,
Yeah. And I mean, to add on, like, I'm not trying to like talk down on victims or stuff like that, but like you got to be able to be honest about things, because like a lot of the media folk, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you all that stuff because they're on this whole believe women, support women, blah 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 blah. But shoot, the prime example with the YouTuber guy, what's his name, Andy Signor.
Yep.
I mean, he's just a regular YouTuber. I mean, he was a big time YouTuber, but you know, some people just want to make it in Hollywood, so they'll do whatever.
Absolutely. Dictator Cole had said, well, Harvey is based, he's saying he's based on New York, not Hollywood. I would argue that those lines were crossed a long time ago, meaning Hollywood and New York, anything of influence, especially with how there's corruption within the industries as a whole. So I would argue that he's part of pretty much that collective unit of influential people with way too much money and influence. And they got away with it for X amount of years, and it's the residual effect of Hollywood as a whole, and it's been going on since I would say the 20s, 30s, 40s. You know,
Yeah.
it's a generational thing. They like to give back and take everything at the same time.
I mean,
yeah, we've talked about this though, and you guys have heard me say this. Hollywood for years has been a cesspool of corruption and debauchery since its inception. And just now, we're calling these people out on their bullshit. Where was this if Me Too and all of these SJWs and weirdos that run around talking about how women are so great? Where was this years ago when these girls were having to do whatever they had to do? And it's not just women; guys have done stuff too. Okay, guys, women, children, actors. Across the board have been used, abused, violated, and tossed out by the Hollywood system. And now you want to shine a light on it?
Let me tell you why it's that. Now, I'm not saying all people lack morals, blah, blah, blah. But when people start talking, it's because money is drying up or something. They're not getting something out of it anymore. That's when they start talking. I mean, here's a prime example of what I was talking about. When I worked retail a long, long time ago, back when I was a young, lonely man, in my department, I worked part-time and there was another girl worked part-time. We always worked the same shifts. So there was a little party that went on for somebody's birthday. The girl, she was talking to one of the managers in the store, like all night, whatever. Nothing wrong with that, right? Next thing we know, this girl's a supervisor. So you go from part-time to supervisor just like that. So it happens. People just want opportunities in life.
Yep.
Yeah, I think when you have it's been, like you said, it's been spotlighted because of the elite status and the way that the media is, and we see a lot of it. But you could see this in the real world. You can see where people do what they have to do, even if it's in a basic job structure to try to get ahead. The thing about it is, if we are going to call out everyone, then these elitists and everyone, we need to be calling it out across the board, or don't call it out at all. I mean, you know, I hate to put it like that, but this shit happens across the board. And I mean, you know, and then us YouTubers and something, we say something bad about a movie and we're the sexist, racist, misogynistic pieces of crap. It baffles my mind.
PB in chat says, she just had a better rack than you, LB. Oh my. And Kermit the Log said, what a pig. And then the Senate, what a fucking whore. And it's a, yeah.
You know, it's one of these things, and you know, it's one of these things where that's the biggest thing that upsets me about this movement and about us as YouTubers. And we've all had, everyone here has had that time where we've been insulted by one of these idiots and called racist, misogynist, or you know, we're this, we're that, we hate our own race or whatever, and it's just ridiculous the level that it's gone to. And it's like, look at your own life. Look within your own work world. Tell me that within your own life you don't see this bullshit happening. Are you going to call them out? No. Because like the lonely sheriff said, they're clout chasing. They only want to talk shit when it's going to get the high profiles. Just like on the Twitter and YouTube verse, they only want to attack the big channels. They only want to go after the people that are going to get them recognized so that they can have those big, long threads that take forever to get through. You know, it's a sad state of affairs we're living in.
Yes, it is. And there's a lot of that clout chasing, and people are more willing to put their whatever ethics or morals they did have on a shelf and say fuck it and burn whoever they can at the stake and step on whoever individual, family, anybody to get to a certain level. And in the end, everyone's mortal. So that always brings me a little bit of joy.
Yeah, I mean, look at that piece of crap, Rymphimous. God, that was the worst run-in of my life. I couldn't get it past my phone notifications with how many of her clowns you get when you say something. But, here's someone who just Twitters and goes after everyone and is so nonsensical and asinine. And for what? Just to get her subscriber base up, rub shoulders. It's in everything. I mean, it's in every facet, but it's more highlighted within the media itself. We have a super chat from the Senate. I don't hate my race. I just hate the dumb shit my race does. I mean, putting a fucking dog in the dryer is absolutely fucking retarded.
Right. I saw that crap. These fucking kids. And then the other thing Trey Courtney brought up was my girlfriend hates Me Too movement because she was a real victim and she wasn't believed because of the fake accusations. And that's the truth. That happens. This has done no good for women in so many ways. Like when we get to one of the articles we talked about that LB found yesterday, and he brought it up, and and I went the hell off. This connects to that. They're hurting women in so many facets. I can't even I can put into words. I know I can. I did it, but I'll do it again. And it's hurting women a lot more than it's helping them. And equality is become like a forbidden word. Have you noticed that? Like suddenly equality is non-existent. We don't talk about equality anymore at all. It's all just we're propping women want all these, they want to be empowered, but yet they don't want to take accountability and responsibility for that empowerment. They'd like to bitch about it instead of actually doing something about it. And they don't understand how the real world works, and they expect things to be given to them because they're entitled. There's a big fucking difference between putting your foot forward and getting something for, on your own with your own perseverance and fortitude, as opposed to having someone handed to you. No one's doing you any damn favors by doing that. No one should be speaking on behalf of anybody. All these people that are spokespeople for quote all women, shut the hell up. Know your man. I'm not going into it right now, but it's just because we'll get to that story. But it just it pisses me off because it does hurt women. This stuff hurts women. These clout chasing, what do you call them? Pieces of shit that don't actually have accusations that were not real victims. Okay, I don't believe all women until I have evidence. That's law. That's going to court. Not just throwing it out into a public square and saying let's go ahead and go after every witch trial victim we could possibly do just because of an accusation that has no merit. And are there instances where women don't have any evidence or witnesses? Absolutely. But that doesn't happen as often as one thinks. Let's put it that way. But
Right.
it's all about the woman having the know-how and understanding of how to protect themselves. That goes back to self-responsibility for the individual as well. It's not all just, you shouldn't be depending on everybody to think on your behalf. This is not a collectivist society, no matter how much these socialists want to go there. It is not. Everyone is out for themselves. Everyone is, and Weinstein is a fine example of what's in Hollywood and the world in a great extent, because not everyone is your friend. Most people are out for themselves. And it's not saying everyone's evil. It just means everyone has their own best interests at heart,
I mean, and I want to add on to that. It's not just the women. Look at like, for instance, work at the theater, right? And I see these kids. This kid, I can't make this shit up. This kid asked me, "How do you mop a floor? How do you mop a floor?" And I'm looking at him, and I thought he's messing with me. I'm getting trolled in real life here. This can't be a thing. But no, he's standing there with that blank look, waiting for an answer. And it's like, it's not just older people, but it's the younger people too that get a sense of entitlement, and they don't know the basic skills that they need to survive in the world. So what do? They're stepping over each other, thinking that that's the way that you need to get ahead. And, you know, it's just, oh, it's ridiculous.
Thanks for telling us about that mop story.
You know, Lady Jamie Vick in chat, she goes, the worst excuse that victims use is, quote, I had no choice. There's always a choice. If this is what it takes to make it in Hollywood, then find another line of work. I agree.
Right.
I mean, I know it's hard. Find a different way, you know.
I hate it, man. Like, it's, I mean, for me, I'm not perfect, but I just hate when people make excuses for things you have a choice. Like, nobody holds guns to your head saying do this. Like, if they did, then that's a whole other story. But everybody always has a choice with things, but people think about, oh, I'll get this role, I'll get this much money, I'll get this job, everything will be better. They don't think about what can happen later on in life, or the fact that you're degrading yourself or selling yourself out or your morals for a career. And then later on, they go around and blame everybody else but themselves.
Exactly.
Trey Courtney in chat says, the thing is, my girlfriend did everything right. She immediately went to the police, but there wasn't enough evidence to do anything. I know what you're saying, like, meaning after the fact. It's the stuff that leads up to it that it goes. I've been assaulted in the past, and I was much younger, and it was because I was naive, and I didn't. And for my case, I'm talking my case, because I know friends of mine who have been assaulted, and they were much older than me, and it was, crazy ass scenarios. Things do happen that are outside of control and outside of evidence. But at the same time, we cannot go straight out and say, I believe all victims. Meaning, I mean, listen to the victim. Don't hear them. Listen to them and do a real investigation into sexual crimes, not just how they've been doing shit in the past. That's why we're here, right? This is why Me Too took off so easily, is because the things weren't handled properly to begin with, such as what happened to your girlfriend. So I do believe there should be improvements, absolutely. But for the individual and every female I've known, including myself, I had to take responsibility for myself from that point forward. And it sucked, but it's the way the reality is. We can't live here in the United States in a bubble and think, oh, well, this person should just, oh my God, there's so many instances this is happening, but this person should just give this to me or allow me this without me having to ask because I am a female, or they should just treat me like this, which in many cases, many females want to be treated better. Not all, okay, not all women, but quite a few just expect things to be handed to them, or that someone will automatically mind read them and understand that they're uncomfortable. You have to be speaking directly and confidently. And when you lack confidence, a predator knows that. And I won't fucking do it. I won't fucking do it. I won't put up with that. And I think for all women, there's a sense of responsibility, especially when you have children, or a sister or a brother, anybody who's been a victim of any kind of crime. You're instantly aware of things much more clearly. And I think it's understanding the world outside of ourselves, right? So when something terrible happens, it ruins, and no one listens to you, it ruins it. It ruins finding evidence, right? So Trey goes on to say that the fucked up thing is she had a brother who was falsely accused by his girlfriend, and she had to coerce the girl to admit that she lied. Oh, man. And that's the thing. That's deadly stuff right there, you see. Lack of evidence and then accusations. This is all dangerous stuff. It really is. When you don't have evidence and girls are in a position where they can't provide evidence, it's learning to teach your girls, daughters especially, your sisters, and males too. I'd have this conversation with my sons about protecting themselves. I think that's fair, because in the end, there are predators. A predator is an opportunist. They will take advantage of people, and they will, do horrible things to others. What is it? I was just talking to somebody about this, about serial killers. They're opportunists. They have, let's say you have a serial killer who only kills women, right? That are, let's say, only white females with blonde hair, right? But all of a sudden, out of all these women, you see that, oh, there's this African-American woman that this person went after. It's because they see, they're like, well, I don't have this, but I have this. They're opportunistic. So if you understand that there are people who are opportunistic and have ill intent, then you can prepare your children to an extent. You can only give them so much. And we all know this from living on our own and living our lives separately and being adults and all this shit. things are going to happen in the world that you can't control, and there are going to be things that are going to do harm. And whether you like it or not, you just have to be prepared as much as you can and learn from those mistakes and try not to repeat them, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, evidence is what carries in a courtroom. And that's the thing that sucks. And listening to victims and not doing investigations properly have really hurt sexual abuse and crimes, you know. Okay. I had my rambling. Okay.
And a good ramble that was. But it's true, especially having a daughter. It's kind of scary and also hard because it's like, you know, um, you kind of gotta prepare them ahead of time for how this world is, especially the way it's going, the way it's shaping. And I don't want my daughter to be one of those people who is relying on other people, and not so much a man, although I tell her I don't, don't just rely on a guy to do everything for you. But it's also the fact that letting her know too, you got to rely on yourself. This world is getting to the point where it's becoming dependent on other people. What can this person do for me instead of what can I do to accelerate myself? And that's the problem. That's why you've got these things coming up. Everybody wants to have someone do something for them. And you know what? That's why we're in the state that we're in. That's why Hollywood has all this crap coming out, because it's all these people like, I sleep with this one, I'll get this. Like LB was mentioning. It's what can they do for me? And then later it's, oh my God, all these terrible things. And I've sold so much to this industry. And it's like, you chose to do that. You chose to put yourself out there. You chose to conduct yourself in a manner that's not with your personality, to sell out who you are for the big paycheck. Well, then that was the life choice. You're going to take the big paycheck and do unsightly things to get the role, or are you going to, be true to your morals? Maybe keep a little bit of dignity. Maybe you don't make it right away. Maybe you do. It's crazy. And welcome, Mary. How are you?
Where am I? Who are you people?
Welcome to the Fandom zone.
Oh,
I
how are
have no
you,
memory.
Mary?
I have no memory of this place.
I saw you. There was a delay, so because I was watching this stream, and I look over, your eyes are going back and forth.
Rubbing your hair. How you like that? If I get to like 10,000 subscribers, don't me too me, okay?
I'm just petting LB's arm right now. Wait, I don't know you. Who are you people?
How did you get in here?
It's getting hot in here.
I don't even know where I am.
I'm supposed to water on myself.
Oh my!
Not that.
Oh my!
I'm gonna call my mom to come pick me up. I'm really uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm so proud. My first Me Too.
Really, really uncomfortable right now. I was told there would be cake.
Oh my God, are you carrying over the cake?
That was Lee's responsibility.
Yeah.
You guys can't trust me with anything. Come
I
on.
was told there was cake. I don't see any cake, and I'm highly disappointed.
Uh-oh.
Actually really upset about this, and I'm
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. So Mary, we were talking about this Weinstein thing and kind of this thing that seems to be going on in Hollywood and how people
there's not cake. I'm not staying.
Oh, the Senate has some cake for you in chat. He gave you a ton of cake, actually.
All right, fine.
I'll give you some cake if you let me on shenanigans. We can't do that anymore. That's a lawsuit.
You want a little cake?
It's code. Oh my.
Oh jeez.
All right. Holler at your girl.
Oh,
I'll let you on shenanigans if you promise to pour more water on yourself.
Oh no.
Mega Jenny One in chat says, "You take the cake, Mary." With love.
I see what you did there.
So,
I'm sorry. I know I disrupted everything. It's what I do. I hope you weren't planning on having a real conversation with me around, but I'll try for a few minutes anyway. It's 3:45 in the morning, so I'm gonna hang out for like 10 minutes. Okay? Can we try and have a real conversation for 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna be like, no cake, no dice, and leave? Is that cool?
that sounds great.
Okay.
Sounds about like a Fandom Zone stream.
Thoroughly engaged for 10 minutes. What are we doing here?
So I brought up an article. We're talking about this Harvey Weinstein shenanigans, and
Given
I was
a bad name. I'm sorry. Go on.
and I was wondering your take. We were talking about where you draw the line between these girls coming out and making these accusations, and where these people should be taking responsibility for their own actions. As far as it goes. So
talking about people taking responsibility for their own actions. What are we talking about exactly? Can you fill me in? I feel like I'm missing something.
Harvey Weinstein.
Well, I know who that is. He's a pig.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And we were talking about how some of these actresses are coming out now, and a lot of them have those claims like, oh, I was forced to do this, that, and the other. And we were talking about how sometimes the actresses and actors in Hollywood are putting themselves into this situation and then coming back later and going, oh my goodness, all of these things I had to do. And where do you draw the line between you have your dignity, you can say no, and you choose not to? You choose to do whatever it is to get ahead.
So that's rough. That's really rough. That's a rough thing to do, because like some of these women now were girls at the time, right? And some of those girls were quite unsure about what it was that they might be able to do to help their careers, right? So imagine being a young girl who doesn't know if she's going to get another shot, she's going to get another opportunity. And she's put in this position where she has to choose between a career and, never having another shot, right? Like, that's rough. It's a conundrum for a girl. It's a very big conundrum. Shoot, it's a conundrum for a woman, There have been times in my life where I've been approached for advancement if I were to engage in behavior that made me uncomfortable. And of course I didn't engage in it, but it's still, you still sit there sort of questioning, why should I have to choose? Why isn't my hard work good enough? Why is it that what I do isn't valid? Why is it that it comes down to how I look, how I appear, whether or not someone is sexually attracted to me? That's a really rough spot for a girl to be in. It's one of the reasons why I think Hollywood is so depraved. It's because they have no qualms with putting a woman in that position, because I think we can all agree it's a pretty shitty position to be in. To feel like you have one shot, that's it. And so it comes down to, if you think you're good enough, if you think you've worked your ass off, you think you should be able to move forward. And then it comes down to this one thing. Yeah, it's tempting. It's really tempting for a woman who feels backed against a wall. I'm not saying that the responsibility isn't on her to some extent for having some measure of integrity and fortitude, but you should never put someone in that position. It's jacked up.
It is. It's a messed up, depraved industry. I've also pointed out, though, it's not just the females either. There's been a lot of stories of males too, doing stuff or being propositioned, putting themselves in that situation. It's a Hollywood mentality in general that is screwed up. But you know, as you said, you've had those uncomfortable situations, and you have managed to come out and not have to do those things in order to advance yourself. So the question is, where is that line, and how much of it is falling on, you know, Hollywood as a whole? We all know what it is. People have known what it is now for years, okay? And people know when they get into that industry what you're getting into. Maybe not fully, especially the young, you know, people who come with the stars in their eyes, but you have on some kind of level some idea of
I think
what
the
you're getting into.
comparison I think the comparison isn't exactly fair, and here's I'll say why. Because the advancement that we're talking about for me is minuscule compared to the kind of advance we're talking about for these girls, right? For these girls, we're talking about the difference between making it or breaking it for Hollywood. Millions set for their life, able to do something that you could only dream of, right? If it was difficult for me in those situations, feeling backed against a wall, then excuse me, I'm so sorry. If it was difficult for me in these situations, you can imagine what it must be like for a young woman in Hollywood who feels like she may never get another chance, and this is the chance of a lifetime. Is it? People sell themselves in different ways all the time. There's a lot of ways to rationalize it, right? There's a lot of ways to rationalize it. It doesn't mean they weren't taken advantage of.
Now, here's a follow-up to that question. What do you think, though? Say someone makes the choice, and they do what they got to do. They make it. They become famous. They're big time, like A-lister, and now they come back years later, and they start going after these people and going, "Oh my goodness!" And I was into this, this, and this. Now, where do we kind of draw that line? Because if you're talking about someone who recently this happened to, then hell yeah, we should be standing up for these victims. Well, these people who have been living their lives for so many years now, and now they're coming out and saying this, this, and this has happened.
It's a support thing. A lot of people would never come out if they didn't feel like they would be support for them, if they felt like they would be all alone. Whereas sometimes an atmosphere changes around you, and you begin to feel empowered by a moment, and you go back to that place where you were when it happened, and you remember how scared you were, and you remember and you get angry. You get angry because you were taken advantage of, and you want to do something about it. Like, there have been times in my life where there were things that were done to me where I should have said something. I should have said something at the time, and I kept my mouth shut for fear of whatever things I won't go into here. But it is a very difficult thing to feel backed against a wall, and like you made a choice, and in a way you put it on yourself. I made that choice, right? So you live with it, and you bear it until you hit a point where all of a sudden you realize you may not have to bear it anymore. There might be an opportunity to get some measure of justice. Maybe the atmosphere isn't the same anymore. Maybe now you can say something. Maybe now you can change it so the next girl doesn't have to endure it. Right? Don't we talk about how rapists should go to the police? Or women who have been raped should go to the police. They should stand up. They should say something. They should do something about it, right? And a lot of women don't. A lot of women don't report things like that because it's terrifying. You're scared. And so you don't ever say anything. You stand there with your mouth shut and you don't ever say anything about it because you're scared of what's going to happen to you when you didn't do what you should have done at the time for whatever reason. And look, I'm not saying there aren't false accusations out there. But if a woman comes back later from something and she sees that there's an opportunity for the wind to have changed, for something to change, for her to get some measure of justice, for her to prevent the next woman of going through this, I don't begrudge her that. As long as she's honest, as long as she's sincere, as long as it really happened. Because the culture in Hollywood is sick, and something does need to be done about it. And I think #MeToo was something that started out noble. I think it's being abused, misused, and taken advantage of, right? I do think that. But a woman who's really been put in that situation, I do think it's important to recognize that there's validity there, and that these women have experiences that are horrifying and haunting. And maybe getting a measure of peace about it isn't something we should begrudge them.
And that's true. I think that there is some measure to seeking justice when something has happened. at the same time, when those opportunities are brought to you, and you can say that the individual is naive, maybe when that was brought to them, meaning they thought that that was it, and they were either going to make it or break it because that's what everyone else was doing in order to make it or break it. Everyone has this rite of passage in Hollywood. If you don't, you know, have sex with this director, like I think LB or Trey, somebody in chat mentioned earlier, you don't get this position or you don't get this opportunity. And the climate will never change if people keep following those rules, right? And it takes a lot of confidence to come out of that and say, I'm not going to do this for myself. The money is not worth it. The fame is not worth it because in the end, you have to live with yourself in the end. Every day you wake up and you hear it in your own head. That is more of a burden, no matter how much money is in your bank account. And I don't think a lot of young people are told that, yourself, your own moral, backbone and values are more important and much more heavier and much more important than the money and the fame and the reality, whether it's reality television or just doing films and TV shows. Because in a sense, once you've disposed of your ethics or morals at some point just for an opportunity, it's very hard to grasp them again and feel the same way ever again. And it's a lesson, right? So you either grow from that and run with it and I guess redevelop that fortitude and confidence, knowing that, okay, I made a decision. It was a bad decision. It was a terrible position. I never should have been put into that position. One of the whole industry's backbone are these things, though, and it's been for a long, long time. It has to be restructured, and it's one of those things you have to literally take out every single one of these individuals who is at, let's say, the higher ups, who are the untouchables in a sense, and it's going to take a long time to get there, you know. And it's a very sad position. Sometimes fame and money are just not worth these things. But if that's all that you see as valuable, then that's why these decisions make it even harder because there's always a way to make it. You may not be a Tom Cruise or one of these higher ups, but it's the ones that these other actors who are not as well known, who have a very strong sense of at least some moral standing, and they despise the industry. Um, that they have, let's say, I would say the value in their life is higher for them because at least they save something, you know, and that's a terrible, terrible position for any individual. I agree with that. Um, to hold on to for a long time.
I actually have kind of a story that goes along with it. One of my uncles has been in the Hollywood scene for a while now, and I'm talking like the John Candy, like Caddyshack days. And he was talking about he's had a few guest spots here and there on certain things, but he had an opportunity to excel and be in a popular movie, and the directors had come up to him and something, and what the bigger director had come to him and said, "Hey, I'll cast you in this movie, but you have to do this." And keep in mind, this is a guy now asking another guy to do something that's lewd. And he was like, I thought about it, and he's like, for me, it was not worth what I had to give up to, get to make it in this industry. And he goes, I've seen so many people, and he got a lot of behind the scenes work on different projects and things like that. And he goes, I've seen so many people put in this exact same situation where, yeah, kid, you're going to make it, but you got to do this, this, and this. And it's not even just Hollywood, too. There's stories from the WWE. There's stories from all facets of entertainment. And I think that's where this problem is lying. And I really hope to God that Weinstein gets hit on something, because we need a big profile person to go down. Not these people that are being hit constantly or thrown under the bus, the people they think they can sacrifice. We need someone who is considered untouchable to actually be hit with something for these elitists to see, like, hey, we can be touched too. We're not above it all. No matter how much fucking money we have, we can't just buy our way out of the problems. And I think that is what the problem is. Our legal system is grossly failing us in a sense of they're not hitting the people that matter. you're getting all of these people that are mid-tier people. And sure, they got a little bit of clout and fame around them, but we're not hitting the big-time people. We're not hitting the big directors, the big people who are accused of all these things. They just skate by and get off. And I think we do need someone high profile to be taken down for the rest of Hollywood to see that, like, hey, there's consequences, there's repercussions to your actions. You can't pull this shit and get away with it.
But at the same time, should it just be anybody, like any high profile person? You know, that's
really responsible.
Yeah, like this, you know, even high profile people are still, you know, people too, you know, even if
we're not talking about innocent people here. We're talking about
okay, then
like
I agree.
Weinstein.
Oh yeah, then
should go down. I'm sorry, but he is a deplorable. That man is a deplorable. That man is disgusting.
Seriously, have you looked at his face?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Obviously, but that's not the point. The point is the situation where you put a woman in that kind of situation. And I understand that men have been put in that situation too, and I'm not degrading that in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. But let's be real. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a woman put in that situation. Right? Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. I'm not degrading men here. I'm not undermining men or their struggles, because I'm with you guys on a lot of this stuff. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a woman put in that situation, and she's going to go back into a corner. She's going to feel scared. She's going to feel like this is it. This is her only shot. This is her only chance. And then the kind of man that he is manipulates young women into feeling like they have no choice. I mean, imagine, I know you guys can't imagine being a young woman, but imagine just for a second that your emotions were dialed up to 10, okay? And imagine not feeling physically powerful. Like dial that down by like, you know, half, okay? And you're in a corner, and you're alone with someone who's physically more powerful. They're more powerful in terms of their profession and where they stand in society. And they're offering you something or exiling you if you don't take it. It's terrifying. It's a terrifying situation to be in because you've put everything into this. It's like everything that you want your whole life. Can you sacrifice yourself for that? Most people would. I'm sorry, but it's kind of like that question of what would you do for $1 billion, you know?
Yeah, Indecent Proposal. So that very true movie.
Yeah, seriously.
Most people would do it. I'm sorry, most people would do it.
I mean, you got people sucking cucumbers in the club for $10. So.
Yep.
Wait, really? Where?
You don't want to go there.
I'm not saying it doesn't take away personal responsibility, but most young women in that position don't understand the burden they will carry with them. Do not understand the real depth of the choice that they're making or the emotional impact that it will have on their lives. Most young women tell themselves in that moment, it's worth it. And then they do it. And then they go forward with this shame and this disgrace that never really leaves. And then they're given an opportunity to do something about it. Yeah, you bet your butt they did, no matter how late it was. Yeah. It's almost like PTSD in a way. It all comes back to you. In that moment where you hear about it happening to someone else, it all floods back. You relive it. You realize that this is a chance to finally do something about it. I don't begrudge that to those women at all. They were manipulated. They were used. They were used for the gratification of a disturbing, sick individual.
Is it like one of those, because I can't really understand it. Oh, PB's here. Hey.
I mean, these guys couldn't have been that deplorable. It's not like they were out there milking cows.
Oh my God.
Hey, don't disrespect the hard work that farmers do, all right?
Redneck Nation.
No, that's a future topic.
That was quite, that was interesting. I know what you guys are talking about. But you're talking about what Drunk 3PO was talking about, right? The whole like
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay. Well,
I didn't see his video.
Oh no, it was a live stream, but it was some other time. But
it was.
I will say that it's, you know, Mary is, you know, correct. You know, when it made me think about something, Mary. So like when you're in that situation, is it like, okay, this is fine in like the short term, but you don't think about the long term? I guess it's just like, oh, this can't be that bad. But then when you realize like what you've done, it's just, does it disgust like what you've, you know?
Yeah, you feel disgusted with yourself. You feel like you've betrayed yourself. You feel like you have no respect for yourself anymore. Right at the time, you don't realize the weight of the decision, right? Especially if you're young. If you're young, when you I mean, and you were coerced, right? Like you agreed to do this.
And yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, it.
With yourself, you feel ashamed, you feel mortified of who you are and what you've done and how you've betrayed yourself, and you can't take it back. So you blame yourself for this horrible situation you were put in, you know?
What's even worse? Oh, you weren't finished. Sorry.
No, please.
Oh, you know, I was just gonna say that is it kind of like legally also, I don't know if you'd be 100%, you know, protected, because you did say yes, technically, to advance your career, because it was because it was somebody of high profile status who would determine whether or not, you know, you succeed in this business or not. And they can say that, oh, they're a horrible person to deal with, horrible person to work with, they're disgusting, and then they can spread your name around and talk bad, you know, and say like, oh,
comes in.
or like this person's a floozy or whatever, and that's what they can think about. Is that it must be something, you know, and because you did technically say yes, you're kind of in that trap.
That's where the shame comes in, that feeds your regret and your despair. That's where this sort of thing that follows you around and weighs you down comes from. And it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter that you were young, that you were impressionable, that you were up against a wall. All of those things go by the wayside when you sit there and realize that you let it happen. You let it happen. You could have done something about it. You should have done something different. You could have and should have made a different choice, but you didn't. And so it's your fault. Even though no one in their right mind should ever put another human being in that position. Right? It's
right.
disgusting. It's disgusting.
No, and you're 100% correct on that. And you know, maybe the legal system can't protect you with that, but
you know, there was when I was young, and this is when I was going through fine art programs and auditioning for schools and things like that. It was a long time ago. I was pretty young at the time, and got introduced to the modern art community, and saw some things, heard some things, and were put in positions where I was a city kid, so I was quite aware of predators, and there was a lot of them, and I got the hell out, and I dropped the art program to get the hell out of it. And it was quite clear that there was a lot of stuff going on that's just barely going to ever be touched upon now, and I would say generally. And I'm still doing art. I'm still doing it independently, and different shit and different genres and so on under pen names and likewise. And there's a lot of biases within all creative arts, but when I was faced with that moral dilemma in that moment, um, my first instinct would to say fuck this person, because I had a lot of I didn't have siblings, I didn't have anybody at my side to run to after it happened, but I made a mental note and just kept going. And I was like, this isn't for me. I don't belong here. And it sucked in a lot of ways, but I wasn't going to give up my art, but I was definitely going to give up that path. And it was a very difficult decision, but being placed in that position to begin with was fucked up. But it was both for males and females, in that creative, I would say, that creative venue. So having to give that up at the time I was more disgusted, and I think it tainted my opinions completely of the art community in general, and things that have come out over the last, I would say, 7 years regarding the art community and the weirdness and their irrational behavior. None of it is shocking. And if anything, it's highly influential people within that industry as well, connected to Hollywood, that have infiltrated all creative arts. So is it surprising that we have issues on YouTube now where they're censoring opinions and what they deem as hate speech and shutting down opinions that are adjacent to the mainstream? Not at all. Everything does connect to one another in some way, shape, or form. And it's just about making the right decisions at the time. And it's very difficult for many people if they don't have that experience at the time, or maybe they weren't from a big ass city. Maybe they hadn't been exposed to predators before. Maybe they weren't, maybe they had a lot of siblings around them and people to support them. Um, but it's every person, every girl, and every male in a certain age are very susceptible to being manipulated. And I think that these assholes in that industry will absolutely pay for it in life or in death. And I just it absolutely I'll never forget those things. And to this day, anytime it triggers me because it pisses me off and because I reject victimhood 100%. um I thankfully knew what to do, and I knew how to basically get myself out of the situation, several of them. um and I did talk eventually to someone, but it took quite a long time. And then they said they were trying to tell me, oh, well, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel fine with it now. I'm more angry about it. And so venues like YouTube, or we have artists in, whether that be in the comics community or artists who are just doing fine art or photography, they should all be supported. Every single person that creates something on YouTube, no matter what, no matter what genre, should be absolutely supported, because they're not going to have true success while keeping their morals in Hollywood or any of those other avenues of creativity that have a whole lot of money and price tags to them. There is money to be made. We just have to take it. And I believe it starts here. That's my opinion. Fuck them.
I would agree with you on the victimhood thing. That um, I think there's a difference between a person who is a victim and a person who lives in victimhood, right? Because anyone can be a victim, right?
Right.
There's a different mentality that takes place from a person who has been a victim of something and chooses to not live their life that way, and a person who enjoys their victimhood, right?
Yeah.
We all undergo a lot of different things in our life that may make us a victim of something. The question is what you do with that, what you do with yourself in the face of it. You do have control over yourself, and you have the opportunity to, I'm sorry, I know this is somewhat taboo, but the truth is grab your bootstraps, right? Empowerment is a choice. It really is a choice. Surround yourself with a good support structure, with good people who will be there for you, and make a decision to not live your life in a way that progresses you, or that won't progress you because you're comfortable with everyone feeling sorry for you. That's no way to live. That's never going to advance you. Victimhood is comfort. It's disdainful comfort. It's a pity party that never ends. Is this a person who chooses to live that way? A person who embraces victimhood, to me, is no longer a victim. They're an excuse. They're a walking, talking excuse.
Yep.
You cannot allow the bad things that happen to you in life to dictate how you move forward. At least not in terms of your failure to move forward.
Right.
Now, you can allow them to empower you. You can allow them to shape you, to mold you. There's a reason I know how to fire a gun, and I'm damn good at it. There's a reason why I will hit you center mass and will kill you dead if you come near me. There's a reason I picked up a gun and learned how to shot it. And that's not everyone here's business, but it's because I refuse to live my life as a victim.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to just, step up and take control of your own life. You don't let life control you.
And I, from a military perspective, and I know it's kind of different, but it's the same thing. I've seen a lot of scenarios between victim and victimhood, and with all the stuff that we do and we see. Like, I know some of it is not your choice, but what is your choice is how you proceed. And I remember coming back and with the shit that's happened and shit I've seen and some of the things I was asked of me. There were two kinds of choices you make as soon as you come back. And it's whether or not you're going to stand still, because the world and how you perceive it is a lot different. When you go in to when you come out, it's like nothing I can't explain, but you start to look at things from a different point of view because of the shit that you've seen and even the shit that you've had to do. And a lot of us had fallen into blaming ourselves, feeling sorry for ourselves. And I mean, it's a natural thing to do that. But at some point, there's also that two types of people happen. Either you come up out of that and you start to try to move forward, or you stay in it. I mean, when you look at the different types of people that have come out from like even like Vietnam and things like that, and how so many got stagnated and couldn't find their place in the world. And then you had people who said, all right, I got to move forward and I've got to do my thing. And I mean, I've never really gone professionally and talked about it, but I felt more comfortable talking in public forums a lot more than I used to be. And I won't go into everything, but now I can at least go into some things and say, yeah, I can see the perspective of being a victim of certain situations. And it's a tough thing. And that's why when I look at these things in Hollywood, I can understand both angles. I really can. I can understand the victims and, and I can understand the people who can't stand the victimhood thing, because that detracts from the people who are really suffering and in pain. And it's part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up. Like these people, Hollywood wants to change. Well, here's your chance to change what's going on. Here's your chance to help out these people. You need to show everybody and the general public that these people, even though they're high profile, even though they've done this and that they're not untouchable. Because right now, the public has it in its mind that no matter how many people are being brought forth, no matter how many of these people we're shining a spotlight on, that's all we're doing. And at the end of the day, they can do all this bullshit and they can still walk. And the justice for the people who suffered is not fucking there. They're still sitting there carrying their burdens that they've been carrying for 20 fucking years or however long it is. And until we can show that these people are not above reproach, then nothing's ever going to change. And it can't just be us talking about it. And it can't just be obviously victims coming forth about it. These elitist assholes need to also start, saying about their cohorts, yeah, man, what Weinstein's doing is kind of messed up. We got to stop backing them up. I mean, I've seen some things where they're talking about all the great accomplishments of Weinstein and this and that. And well, maybe.
Oh, like people should say up front, hey, Matt Lauer has a button that locks his door from his desk.
Yeah.
I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't, because of all of these stories that have come out. Like let's take Andy Signore's situation for example. That's not true. What else from this early Me Too movement isn't true? If somebody had exactly what you said, PB, if Matt Lauer had a lock button on his desk, maybe you could have said that for a security reason, but that should clue you in. And what if?
And how many fucking people knew about that fucking button is what I want to know. How many people knew about this shit?
Pretty sure you don't need that level of security when you're at that level on NBC Studios.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
not
nobody.
Like the first floor.
He and it was just kind of a shame because for a variety of reasons, for me personally, but it also was, one of those things where I'm just like, I knew from the beginning that there were, and I still, don't know, what's true and what's not true because, people just, jump the gun. Chris Hardwick, that's another example. It's just like you want to, and because some of these people are, maybe people that you looked up to, it breaks your heart. It really breaks your heart to know that, these people weren't the people that you thought you knew. And so
what breaks my heart? Mary said that she has to leave. Is that
Like,
what it
I was
says in
hoping
the
to
chat,
like reel
Mary?
her in for at least a.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's it's 4:15 in the morning, so I have to go to bed. I actually have a lot of packing to do tomorrow. So LB,
Sounds terrible.
LB. Oh my! Oh wait, there we go. One more time. You ready? Okay. All right, Brady Bunch. I'm out.
Oh,
bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
Mary.
Mary.
Thanks for stopping by.
Of course, man. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, so I've spent a great deal more than I want to, but I was really buying time for PB because I know he's a big proponent of milk, and I wanted to bring up the article we kind of touched on yesterday, but about cow rape. I'm just gonna come out and say it. You know what? This is the fandom zone. If they want to fucking pull down my video, go fucking feel free. But it's a thing, okay? You can't deny it anymore. It's a thing. Cows are being violated, and their rights are being taken from them, and it's our moral responsibility to bring this to light.
I brought it up at my wife's 10-year reunion earlier yesterday or today or however you want to say it, and everybody laughed their ass off.
Oh God.
So yeah, I don't know if it was what Proper was talking about, but yeah. So I wanted to bring up the article and kind of talk about this ridiculousness because my God, this is so ridiculous.
You want to hear something real funny? When I brought up the article, I sounded like a complete fucking moron because I said instead of milking cows is molestation, I said molesting cows is molestation. They all looked at me like, well, duh. And I was like, wait, milking cows. And they were like, oh, what the fuck?
Perp minded in chat says cows. Perp minded said in chat that cows are being molested. Indeed, sir.
He's channeling his inner
we got a
Stig.
doozy for you. I mean, this is just ridiculous, and this comes to us from Campus Reform. Fucking New York, what are you doing to me? New York University promotes paper comparing cow insemination to rape, milking cows to sexual abuse.
Jesus Christ.
New York liberals, they just, every year, they get crazier. I don't know what's in the water. Thank God I never drank any of it. A journal published by New York University Gender Studies Department, because we need a whole department for gender study, recently put out a paper meant to call attention to the sexual exploitation of dairy cows. The author argues that in order to be true advocate for feminism, one must consider the Jesus Christ. Don't do this to me. Shut up, PV. I'm gonna figure it out.
Oh yeah, let's talk about some indictments.
You've been waiting all night to jump in and say that one.
Oh my God, you have no idea. I'm sitting here listening at the beginning of the live stream, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He just said indictment.
And I let it roll too. I was like, oh.
I know, and then he said it again.
I know, and I was like, oh.
And then I was like, no, she's gonna bring it up, and then I said thank you. So what word are you trying to say?
Commification?
Sure, why not?
Oh God. Why? Come on, that's a made up word.
All words are made up.
You're funny, PB. You're fucking
Thank
funny.
you.
Of dairy cow reproductive rights. A paper
I
currently
mean,
being
whoa.
promoted.
This is a real sexual scene going on right here. Okay, yeah, get past that
Look
picture.
at that.
Oh
Look
gosh.
at
Ugh.
that cow is
Like, oh my
surely
god.
is
Like
as
you can't be
being violent.
feeling up fucking bovines like that. I mean, everybody saw that clip from Family Guy where he's milking the cow, and the cow is loving it.
A paper currently being promoted by a New York university calls on society to consider the rampant sexual exploration of dairy cows by the milk industry in order to fully fight gender oppression. Specifically, the offer compares cattle insemination to rape and the milking of cows to sexual abuse. Titled Readying the Rape Rack, Feminism and the Exploration of Non-Human Reproductive Systems. The paper was published Friday in a journal called Descending Voices, which is published and edited by the Women's Gender Studies program at the college at Brockport State University of New York. The published piece aims at discussing the sexual exploration of non-human bodies.
No. That's the third time I let it go. The first two, exploitation.
Thank you.
Very
Of non-human.
1 second, really quick. Miss is in chat. She says hello and asked what Zod was doing to us.
Oh, and I answered her right away. He's
Yes.
reading.
Very funny, PD. Very funny. We're talking about cow rape, miss. The author notes that as a vegan and animal rights activist, because of course he's a vegan, or no, it's a she. I'm sorry, I misspoke a gender there. She feels compelled to reveal the feminist aspects of animal agriculture, a topic she says is unfortunately under-researched. We need more money to research animal abuse, but is nevertheless important because the same way women's health has been at stake for years, a dairy cow's reproductive system has been poked and prodded.
Oh my God.
According to the publication, the dairy industry is a host for sex-based discrimination and a site where sexual assault and objectification based on biological makeup are highly prevalent but ignored as we choose to neglect non-humans with whom we share the planet. The fucking cows are being violated. She's tired of it. She wants equal rights for the bovine community. The paper
I need cheese.
the paper argues that in order to fully fight gender oppression, love that word, society must also address the plight of dairy cows.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude, like, dairy cows have one of the greatest lives imaginable. Imagine being able to just hang out all day. You get felt up at the appropriate times. It feels great. And you get a 24-hour buffet. You can eat whenever you want. And because it doesn't bother you, because we're not humans, we're cows, it doesn't bother us. You don't have to get up and go to the bathroom. You just go. Like, the life of a dairy cow is wonderful.
So my question is, like, for these people that's saying this stuff, like, how do they know if the cow wants it or not? Like, do they say
have
no?
no
Oh my God. What the fuck?
Oh shit.
If that cow
but
says no, you better not touch it.
You're about to get to the good stuff, General Zod.
The paper argues that in order to which it asserts still subjects to sex-based discrimination and violence, despite their voices being not always lifted or comprehensible. The piece begins by
That's because they fucking moo. Who the fuck comprehends this?
the cow whisperer.
Comprehensible? I must have skipped that fucking paragraph when I read this fucking article because I missed that part. Not comprehensible? No fucking shit. You're not a goddamn cow. You have no idea what they're saying at all. Like, even if you had your best fucking guess, like I've been in situations where I'm pretty sure I know what the cow is talking about, what they're feeling, because I know what I'm about to go out there and execute, and it wasn't going to be pretty. We'll not get into the nitty gritty about it. And they got zapped by the electric fence. They didn't appreciate that.
Oh my god.
They don't talk for a little while. And they start mooing again. Like cows they're not a special creature. I mean, special in the sense that they give me delicious cheese. But they're not any more special than a freaking like dog. Yeah, they're more special than an ant. Sorry, all of you people out there that love ants and your ant farms. I'm sorry, but you suck.
Oh, God.
The piece begins by first attacking the widely contested notion that cow's milk is even at all beneficial for humans. Holy fucking shit!
I have never broken a bone in my entire life.
Oh my God.
I have, but I started drinking milk more, and I haven't broken a bone since.
There you go.
Ooh.
Science.
Anecdotal science.
And there's so many good puns in the chat about cows, but there's just so many. I apologize if I don't get to a few of them, but if this is from Lord Scott, he says, if a cow gets horny, doesn't that make it a bull? And I think, oh yes, let me go up. Perp Minded said, Dojo Cat Moo. Oh my. And Mad said, I know what they're saying. It's moo. That's what cows are saying.
So check this out. So I'm just thinking, since this person's being all fake deep or whatever they are with their articles, like, just imagine the first person discovered that a cow milks. Like, how did that happen?
Exactly.
Like, was there a relationship going on between that person and the cow? Was that person lonely?
Oh, God.
Good morning to Wicket and Friends Production, Parody Bizarro Productions. Hello, sir. Actually, Miss it said cows will overpopulate the earth, then all die from not being milked. So maybe there was dead cows, and they're like, maybe we should find a way to not have these dead animals that provide us with delicious beef. Maybe that's how they feel.
Yeah, like, I don't want to get fucked over on the beef either. I'm a huge fan of my T-bones and porterhouses. It's very important to me. On top of the cheese and milk. Like, the cheese is important to everybody out there that has that loves pizza.
I love what Mr. Sarcastic Nerd said. This conversation is both important and fucking pointless.
Oh, yeah. Because the gist of it, this is the thing, is like in the actual paper, oh my God, waste of money in the world, is that they're trying to compare this to how women's health sucks, basically. Like, they're almost positioned, this is why it's a, quote, feminist talking point, is what their argument was, is that they're comparing the prodding and molestation of cows to the molestation of women and the lack of women's health care, which, oh my God.
Well, them cows need to drink more milk if they're not healthy.
Shit. It's cannibalism, cows. But yeah, I mean, this is like the least thing they should have ever done. I don't even. They should never have even done this paper. This is like the biggest. Once again, this holds any actual female talking points back because we have idiots here who got their hooked on science fucking degrees, and they're like, oh, we're gonna compare cows to women because we're all cows. I guess women are cows to these crazy bitches. Like, just because you're vegan doesn't mean you need to go hug a tree and fuck a crystal. You need to stay away. Go away. This hurts women in so many ways I can't even tell you as far as comparing it to women's health care and molestation of cows. Shut up right now. That whole like journal, that whole what do you call it, journal article that they published or their findings, it was all bullshit.
I have a question. Can cows run?
Yes.
So if they
Yes.
was getting
It's
molested,
terrifying when you. Yeah.
so I'm just saying, if they were getting molested, right, they would run.
That's true.
Yeah, and they weigh half a ton.
Right. So they could just kick you.
Like you don't win that battle
Right.
unless you have a weapon.
Right. Right. Let me look up cows running.
No, you're gonna see some funny shit of like cows frolicking in fields and like jumping and shit. It's funny.
I'm kind of scared to look. This might change lives.
Okay, finish this off, Zod. You got 1 page left.
So, Mackenzie April, an intern for Brockford's Women's
let me
Studies
mute my mic.
Department, goes further than the assertion that milk is bad for humans, Jesus Christ, by claiming that the practice of dairy farming also supports and exemplifies the degrading way in which we treat female bodies and reproductive health, adding that she hopes the publication will inspire feminists and other social justice-minded individuals incorporating non-human bodies into their own feminist perspectives. If we are going to argue fairly for the rights of all beings in a world soured with sex and gender-based oppression, then dairy cows deserve to be taken into account when discussing issues of reproductive women's health.
Soured, is
April.
that like a milk pun?
God, these
April, who then compares barren female cattle to human women who choose not to have children.
Holy fuck!
Fucking
telling
shit.
you.
This bitch is off her rocker.
Okay, read the quote.
If women do not choose to become mothers, they are shamed.
What?
If a female cow is incapable of successfully bearing a calf, they are sent away for slaughter and made
Yep.
into a delicious steak. Their
Yep.
reproductive system is useless, therefore they are useless. April notes, arguing that this is indicative of a double standard, as society would cringe at the thought of murdering women once they became infertile. The outdated stereotype about women being caretakers and, most importantly, childbearers remains consistent in the dairy industry, especially when we take into
Do you
account.
see LB's face? He's watching cows run.
When they take into account the means through which these animals are exploited. April argues, pointing specifically to the insemination of cattle, which she compares to rape, the milking cows, which she compares to sexual abuse. They're being abused. The emotional trauma related to pregnancy and non-sensual hormonal treatments. April encourages readers, she encourages them to attempt to place the importance of animals' lives as equal to your own and address the plight of the dairy cow, similar to how you might validate and advocate for the struggles of women that you personally do not endure due to the privilege of race, gender, class, etc.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to let it be known, like, bruh, these cows are gonna die eventually, so you might well kill them early so we can eat steak. All right, you can continue.
Exactly. If you wait for a cow to get old as fuck, like if you take a dairy cow and you've milked it for 8 or 9 years, that cow is not going to be able to be turned into a reasonable steak. The entire thing will be turned into essentially bottom of the barrel hamburger.
Like seriously, like these steaks. I mean, not steaks. I mean, these cows are used for.
No, you said it right. You
no,
said it
no,
right.
I mean like these things.
So these cows that are used for milking and steak, like, okay, so say we stop doing, milking cows and killing them for steak, right? And just let them grow and die. What are you gonna do with the dead cow then? They don't think about it.
They want to give it a nice burial.
Right. You gonna make burial
my
sites for
God.
cows? You gonna put cows 6 feet under?
They're so dumb.
What is this,
and-
India?
If you cremate a cow, they're gonna complain about that. So like,
Oh yeah, carbon.
Cows are here for me to eat and get milk from. That's what they're here for, and to run around,
100%.
to run around and make white people happy in Denmark. That's what they're here for.
Let me,
I feel like these people, and by these people I mean wacko feminists, have a problem with the word in general, domesticated. I mean, you're out there comparing women to fucking cattle. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, I'm a lonely man, but I'm assuming some women taste good like cows too.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yep.
I see.
Really quick, I'm going to read up on chat a little bit. Lord Scott said that cows are responsible for more deaths than sharks. Actually, they're in the top 3 killers of humans. That's hilarious. Mads Mama Bear said, just remember, moo means moo. Miss Sarcastic. Miss Sarcastic Nerd says, Lee, stop making fun of them. This is serious. Cows are being oppressed and finally have people speaking for them after centuries of silence.
I mean, like straight up, like
Oh
you
my
got
God.
you got people that's in the military. You got the military making the ultimate sacrifices for their country. You got suicide bombers out there. What's wrong with cows making the sacrifice so we can eat good steak and drink great milk? What's wrong with that?
More from
I don't
chat.
know.
Pert Minded says a moo gotta do what a moo gotta do. And then Lord Scott said, moo, I said moo, motherfucker. Then the Senate said
Moo.
hashtag cow too, hashtag believe cows, hashtag respect cows. Hold on, I'm catching up. All right. Oh my God. Non-moo sensual from the Senate. Sounds right. Oh Jesus. Sorry guys, I'm catching up here. Pert Minded said hamburgers
Schmear
matter.
says, oh, I was going to say, Scott said,
You know-
cows aren't human. Maybe they don't care who hits it.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, I had cow earlier. I had some oxtail. It was great. I mean,
And then Perp asks, would anybody drink a steak milkshake? I can think of
Yes.
one person.
yeah, you know what? That was mentioned earlier on Hangout, and that's when I had to make that exit. I was like, no, bro, we ain't gonna talk about drinking steak milkshakes. I'm like, bro, I'm gone.
Good morning.
And
Lord
Mr.
Riot.
Nerd says, why don't go address the bastards banging horses?
Oh my God.
I mean,
Because, I don't know. I don't want to talk about horses. People were talking about horses in my house earlier, and I had to correct them when they were telling me there's people all over the country that collect semen from horses, and I was like, wait a second, no. The percentage of people all over the world that do that as a job is incredibly fucking small. I was like, you got like 1 or 2 vets in a small city. That's all the people in that entire city that do it. How many people in that small city of like, let's say 10, 15,000 people are flipping burgers. And that's just one job. I was like, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous people. So no, I want to talk about horses.
Generation Productions
Sorry.
chat.
Sorry.
Sorry. He says
Triggered.
Generation Production says, this is getting cheesy, but I guess we're milking the subject. Are we gonna move on now? LOL. Jokes. Oh no. LB.
Look at me.
Holding up the oppressive
What
milk.
the?
No,
That's beautiful.
cows' lives matter.
Exactly.
Look at me.
I mean, I thought that they wanted us to take care of the earth the best way possible. And that means getting rid of the cows that we can't milk to make room for cows that we can milk.
Is that chocolate milk, yo?
No. Oh, it is? I thought it was strawberry.
Oh, man.
He's oppressing
What up,
the cows that make chocolate milk.
If only that was a bottle of Hennessy.
Oh, my
know,
God.
Usually I'm against, black oppression, but chocolate milk is great.
Chocolate milk.
I mean, I agree with that.
Oh my. Welcome, perp.
Hello.
Like, this is so, like, I'm sitting here and it's hard to get through this article because the connections you're making are so fucking, like, far left field. It's like, no, lady. So, what? How do you, first of all, it's insulting that you're comparing women to cows. So right off the bat, you're saying, oh, what? Women are cows?
It's almost like
Chocolate milk is thicker, and I do like them thick.
that's good to know. Oh my.
Wow, chocolate milk all day.
Go ahead, Squirrel.
I
Hold on, I'm gonna jump on it for a second.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
You had
boy.
to cut her off to say that?
Really quick.
Who,
Really quick though, I think it's interesting that they kept bringing up the reproduction stuff. Like, oh, they're useless if they they have an issue with reproduction and blah 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 blah. I'm like, if you don't want to have kids, that's totally fine. If you're unable to have kids, I'm sorry to hear that, but you're seeing certain values as almost like like it's almost like they're working through personal issues here. A lot of these things, this isn't the first time that this has happened. Where you read it and you're like, somebody needs to go to therapy and work through some shit.
Hello, miss.
Lee removed himself so I could get in here.
Who is that? You mean General Zod?
I'm not calling him freaking General Zod.
No respect for the fandom zone. Like, how you come in people's home and disrespect it?
Who are we losing here? Well, how we dropped down to 4 people now? What happened?
Yeah, what's going on?
Get your banner off the screen so we can see the names, you son of a bitch.
Dude.
We can't tell who's who. There we go.
Thank you.
God.
All right, so we got 2 women. I mean, 1 woman.
Okay,
and a
so now
squirrel.
back to the disrespecting of General Zod.
I'm not calling him freaking General Zod.
As she calls him General Zod.
Canadians, no respect for them.
Right?
No respect for Kryptonians, none.
And if he has an issue with it, he can just remove me if he'd like.
What do you mean? No, we can't.
No, he can.
Like, no, he is used to being disrespected. He would never remove a whammon, because then he'll get called out for removing whammon.
Yeah.
For him. I turned my camera on, but I was sleeping, and then I woke up, and I was like, I'm fully awake now.
Oh, but he has no problem getting rid of livestock when proper Jeremy's been muted for like an hour.
He's probably doing personal things. When you bring up cows, people have things they need to take care of.
What do you mean? Like, people don't want to hear others talk about cows and milk and
cows
cheese?
Can be a bit of a tough subject for some people.
It can be a bit of a sour subject.
Yeah. Oh, well, fine.
Oh, and he left.
Did you? I think
You can come back now, Squirrel. Excellent.
Wow.
Sweet.
He left, didn't he tell us goodbye? What a
I know.
cow. He's
I
such a
think-
cow.
Lee removed him, didn't he?
Heifer. He's a
I-
heifer.
No,
Lee's just sitting there
General
smiling.
Zod did not kick out proper Jeremy, did he?
Lee, can I call you Lee?
No. Do you see my name? I will arrest you.
You gotta get a sheriff.
That is his title in the fandom zone.
Yeah, I'm going to get a badge that says the Lonely Sheriff.
Ooh.
I mean, there's so many Lees in the world. His
Yeah, how
name
many
isn't something
General
famous.
Zods are there?
There's 2 of them in the
There's
chat right now.
2. So easy
Oh,
to
God.
find.
Yeah, you fucked that chocolate milk up.
Yeah, man. I represent for the cows out there.
I always hate them. Anything to do with vegans or vegetarians or just liberals in general saying how we shouldn't eat meat. And it's just really disrespectful to certain groups of people who eat meat as according to their religion.
I mean,
Like
I
cannibals.
don't think. I don't think that's exactly who she was talking about. But what I was going to say was, if we didn't eat meat, our brains would not have grown to the size that they are over thousands or hundreds of thousands of years,
Maybe,
depending on what you believe.
maybe
I mean-
the hippie people
Yeah,
raised
the
my
hippies did, right?
generation, and their brains are the size of batteries. Little
mean-
AA batteries.
I know that this is not, this has nothing to do with milk,
What's that?
but it does have to
battery.
do, yeah, what? Oh,
I thought it was like a Smartie.
now
or
we can
something like that,
tell.
like a
Yeah,
snack.
I could just see a cylinder.
Mhm.
We couldn't see the little knob on top, LB, when you were
My
holding
bad.
it on the ends.
My bad, homie.
But, I mean, what does everybody think about this Impossible Whopper?
It's impossible.
All right.
Whopper.
Now, I'm not really a Burger King guy because Burger King's too expensive. But I've been having the double Whopper lately because I have a coupon for $3. So,
Nice.
what is this impossible thing going on here?
The Impossible Whopper is a patty that is made from 100% plants.
That's disgusting.
It's a weed
It
burger.
has 0% beef.
It's a weed
Who
burger.
the hell wants to eat that? It
I
is
am so
impossible.
glad that that is the face that you made, LB, because that is the face of somebody that knows what the fuck a burger is.
You know what? You know what you could do with that? That's views right there. You should just do a video of you just eating an Impossible Whopper.
Well, how much are they? Because I feel like you could use them to like.
I'm sure it's
feed
the
your
same
chicken.
price as the regular fucking
No,
Whopper.
like is it cheaper than getting chicken feeds?
It
'Cause
should
you could
be.
just get that and get that for your fucking livestock. They'll eat that.
Should be like $2.
Mm.
Nope.
Yeah,
You know,
get a
do
bunch
these-
of Whoppers instead of getting.
No, it's because people care about all of these cow lives.
cow lives.
They
Matt,
don't care about plant lives though, for some unknown reason. I don't understand it yet. I don't
Right.
get it.
we don't want to kill all
Oh,
cows because if we kill all cows, then we won't have beef. We
Like
want-
the only life that matters is life with a heartbeat, I guess. But even then, that's a sketchy subject, and that goes to a totally different topic.
We develop relationships over centuries with certain things to serve a purpose for us so we could survive. Wolves used to be our enemies, and now
Yeah.
they're dogs. There are some fruits and vegetables that used to be poisonous to us that we can now eat because we needed to eat them to survive. Things change so we can live, and cows and all the other things on this earth are a part of that.
Yeah, now cows are being oppressed. They're saying no, and we need to address that. The cow community is spoken.
There's a
I'm
community?
saying-
Cows are.
I keep
Can I
seeing the
become-
seeing the commercial for this Impossible Whopper.
So, are they going to add
And I
cows?
halfway want to try it, but I don't want to have to pay.
Are they going to add cows to the alphabet community?
The LGBTQ.
BT.
Oh, dude,
T
it's
cow.
basically the LGBTQ community is basically now just the infinity sign with a rainbow colored around it. It's just the infinity community because they're just a bunch of everything.
Is that like the Infinity Gauntlet? I'm
I
fucking
identify as pink lipstick.
confused. Can I identify as someone with fucking money?
I actually identify and have identified for a year as a cucumber sandwich.
I mean, Zod,
And
you
nope.
can identify as somebody with money, but nobody is going to recognize you as somebody with money.
Oh.
Oh my
Yeah, you're
God,
a
he's
son of a
still
bitch.
alive.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, he heard us talking about cow rape, and he's like, I gotta get in on this.
Your thoughts, sir?
On cow rape? Oh, you're talking about the drunk 3PO story.
No.
What do you mean the drunk 3PO story?
Okay,
Oh,
you
no, he
don't want
brought
to
it
know
up.
what happened in El
About.
Salvador.
He brought it up on the stream.
You said this previously. Like, what is this drunk 3PO story you're talking about?
No.
Is it the one from Campus Reform?
I think so. I think he talked about it. That's why. He talked about it on a stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How does
so,
that
I mean,
make
that's
it a
why-
drunk 3PO story? I'm very confused.
No, he just talked about, I think he talked about the story on a stream, how like cows are, getting raped when they're milked, right? Is this what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so he talked about it, and that's why I mentioned it, because that's where I first heard it. I'm like, yeah, he talked about this on the stream. Yeah.
I'm not getting
That's why.
notifications for drunk anymore. I would love to watch that. Where?
Oh, it was a live stream, and there was a lot of mooing jokes, like moo.
There are viewing jokes going right now. There's no end to the cow jokes.
Like moo for everyone, moo everyone because equality. Like all these things, man. It's crazy.
So yeah, we were talking about this article comparing the whole cow fiasco to women's women's rights and reforms, and how it's equal to women being raped and all this crazy shit that campus reform was talking about, and it's just hilarious to me. I'm like, how do you even make that connection? Like, it's a stretch. How the like, how do you connect this?
All right, so check this. I've read a few reviews about this Impossible Whopper because I'm now interested in this. Most of the people,
shit.
they're all saying it's like 75, 85% of a Whopper. It doesn't taste like the actual Whopper. Like, they say it's drier.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So you put extra sauce in the bag.
Well, fuck. Well, I mean, the fucking Whopper is already a dry enough burger. It's not like it's a super greasy burger. I can't take it any fucking drier.
Right.
Damn.
It's
McDonald's is
ground
gonna
up compost into the shape of a burger.
You're probably get
McDonald's.
Fuck.
McDonald's is gonna try one up them.
bro. You're gonna get a dry mouth from eating this Impossible Whopper.
The invisible burger.
Why is it called the Impossible Burger though? Because it's dry.
It's
a mash
No
impossibly,
beef in it.
it's impossibly
No
awful.
beef.
Oh well, I guess at least the name makes sense.
It's like a weed burger without the weed.
Oh, that's like CBD. CBD is not real weed.
You're right. Just think
And
of it
I've
like that.
always, like one time I drank like one of those CBD like drinks. I was like, I don't feel anything. This is bullshit. You know.
It's like an energy drink.
I don't get it. Yeah, man, it's so dumb. It's so stupid.
So I guess it's impossible burgers for those people y'all like to call soy people, soy men, or those soy.
So
Wow.
it'd be like a regular burger to them. They're probably vegans, to be honest. The
No,
self-righteous
because you
one.
can't. I
article was
mean,
written by.
you
The
have to order it special if you want it to be vegan because it comes with mayo, which has eggs in it.
You know what? I don't have a
So
problem.
you
with
can't call it a vegan burger.
that. Oh, that's true.
I
That's
mean,
very true. And
I
by the
would-
way, before, sorry,
Yeah.
Miss, I just have to
Sorry.
make one thing really clear. I have no issue with vegans, just self-righteous asshole vegans who say, oh,
Correct.
you're a horrible person when you eat meat. I'm like, well, not eating meat makes me feel sick. So, and fuck
Yep.
the animals. I will eat whatever I want because they taste delicious. And I'll eat it right in
Delicious.
front of your face. You know? So, just wanted to clear that air.
Dog, why the fuck are you licking the couch? God
He's
damn.
not allowed to eat beef anymore, PB. Now he
Come
has
on.
to eat furniture.
You know,
Give that dog some dog food so he doesn't lick the couch. Come on, man.
No,
Yeah.
that's the only kind of meat where I'm just like, you're a bad person if you eat dog. That's wrong.
There's mad people getting mad views off of doing the Impossible
You-
Whopper, like eating it.
I ain't doing it, bruh.
Probably.
All right, Miss, you were trying to say something.
I'm trying to say several things now. One, plane crash. What would you eat first? Another person or the dog that survived the crash?
Another person.
I'm not
What
answering
the fuck
that.
is wrong with you people?
It's a
Well,
real situation.
It doesn't matter if they're dead.
Hannibal Lecter in this bitch.
Look, y'all not gonna get me caught up with Peter. I ain't answering.
Well, hold on a second. Is everyone alive or is someone dead? Because if someone's dead, it doesn't matter.
Whoa,
Let's
hold
say
on.
one person is dead, and then you and another person are alive, and then there's a dog.
Like, what
Is the
is
dog alive?
the race of the other person? Is the other person Chinese? Are they going to be able to prepare the dog for me?
No, I'm not. No. Mm-mm.
The dog's alive. I won't answer the other question.
Noping the fuck out of this, you bastard.
Anyway,
I'm
the
not
other
answering.
thing I was going to say was that vegans going into a Burger King to get a vegan burger is the same to me as when they get those bacon flavored vegan crap.
Oh yeah.
Why would you walk into a place that's full of beef to get that one shitty vegan burger they make?
They're reaching.
Right? Like, I think the special they got going on right now is the pulled pork, too.
All the people are eating dead animal around you. You can hear the crunchy sounds of them chewing on their burgers, and you have to order that vegan burger. I mean, wouldn't they just go insane? Wouldn't they? It would be like a Wiccan walking into a church. Like, they just burn.
Oh
It's just, it doesn't work that way. You can't make a vegan burger and then all the vegans are going to be like, oh, now I can go to Burger King now.
I can actually join my friends in society.
Oh, well, okay, maybe
I mean, I guess that's what I was thinking was, now they can interact with normal society. That's like supposed to be the play here. 'Cause I don't know what they're trying to score with doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you scoring points with the vegans, or are you scoring points with the global warming people because you're cutting down on how many cows you need because now you're making it from trees? I don't fucking know what they're trying to do with this. I don't understand the point. It's a burger. Make it from a cow.
There was a lot of passion.
You know what?
He's
What
like,
really?
for fuck's sake, I want my beef.
No, I don't understand. Soy Rizos. There's
What is
something
that?
literally called a soy Rizo. It's a soy-based chorizo.
Oh.
Disgusting. It's
Okay, hold on for a second. Jamie Vick is leaving for the night. She says, "Okay, guys, it's time for me till the next time. Good night, Jamie Vick. Thank you.
See you, Jamie Vick.
Good night.
Always a pleasure
Hey,
having
thank you for joining
on."
us.
So, and there's a mad squirrel lurking in the chat.
Oh,
That's gross.
you know, I can switch out for her for a second if you want.
We should people should definitely stop eating squirrels though. It's not nice.
Yeah,
I've never
don't do that.
Yeah,
I
don't
never
eat
eaten
squirrels.
a squirrel.
That Katniss Everdeen is a bitch.
We've grown to know a squirrel,
come
and
on.
we've moved on from eating squirrels now. It's just not right.
Squirrels' lives matter.
Squirrels'
Yeah.
lives matter.
They do. Except for those black squirrels in Toronto, they're huge.
Oh yeah, fuck them.
Shoot them all.
Well, like Ted Cruz.
Right. Them squirrels in Toronto are different.
Whoa. Did LB just say shoot the blacks?
Whoa! Mind blown.
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh my god.
I mean, there is a triangle on his shirt. Right there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's part of the Illuminati.
I'm gonna wake up tomorrow
Oh,
and my
God.
fucking channel's gonna be gone. Because
No, it's not. You didn't play any trailers, guy. You'll be fine.
Is that all it takes, really? Wow. All
For
it takes is
him,
a
every
trailer?
time that he gets something claimed or blocked worldwide, it's because he plays a fucking trailer.
And we tell him beforehand not to play it, but he still does it.
You know. See, I learned that when everyone's videos were getting taken down because of the Brie Larson, the Captain Marvel extended scene, and I just played it. I didn't. I took everyone's advice in the Council of Jeremy's and did not play it. And
Good choice.
just like you do like a watch, like how you do with movie watch parties. Maybe you can have the audio very dim in the background, but even that's risky. People, do that for. They do that for music. You have 5 seconds of music being played, and then it gets manually claimed, and it's ridiculous. Luckily, though, YouTube has stepped up and said, "Hey, that's ridiculous. We're going to change the rules now." So that's one good thing about YouTube.
Mad's Mama Bear says the black squirrels follow me around. I wonder why.
And we have Lethal Lightning in the chat who says, "Proper doxed my nips."
Proper does that.
Oh, no. He did that to himself.
I doubt it.
He did that to himself.
No.
He did it to himself. I'm pretty sure he was on a stream and he decided to not have a shirt on, and that's him. So that's on him. I think we made Perp uncomfortable.
I think Perp is always uncomfortable.
No.
All right, Zah, what else you got to talk about? It's 5 a.m. Eastern
He's
time.
got like a couple things, I bet.
Oh yeah.
Like we sidetracked hard on this Whopper.
Hey man, we might have to postpone this for another night.
Yeah, I'm feeling I might have to do that too, because my goodness, this week wiped me out with my personal shit that was going on and everything else.
Is everything okay with that?
It's okay as it's gonna be. I guess for the end of this, just so that people who gave me a shout out kind of knows the situation. I lived in New York, and I have a good friend of mine that I grew up with who was the victim of gang violence. He had gotten out of the gang and
A victim of gay violence.
I said gang violence.
No,
Is
gang
that like
violence.
Fabulous?
No. PB.
No, I heard him.
So, he had gotten out, but he had done some pretty bad things and came back around. So I can't say that I was necessarily surprised. I was just surprised when it was delivered. The news was actually during one of my streams from my brother, and you know, it was pretty it was a tough thing. I've dealt with things like this before, but not um not from like someone within the civilian world, I guess you'd say. So I took it a little bit rough. Is why I took a night off from streaming, which is why I thank everyone and the people on the panel and stuff. Everyone was, you know, they DM me and stuff, so I appreciate that. But you know, I plan on doing something as far as it relates to this bullshit with gun control and shit like that, because these people who did this, they had illegal guns. The number was filed down, the serial numbers and all that shit. And you know, it goes to the point of what we were talking about a couple of nights ago with people blaming, you know, guns for the violence that we have. But it's like when people want to do these horrendous things, they're going to do them no matter what kind of laws that you put into place. So yeah, so that's, I mean, that's pretty much what happened. But I'm doing a little bit better. Kind of going through the steps. I talked about it a little bit last night, and I'm just going to keep on moving forward and doing what I do and trying to keep myself as occupied as possible. And you know, maybe not the healthiest, but not kind of think about it yet, because I got a lot of other things going on. So I can't. I don't have time to get hung up and ball up in a corner, and get sad, and not, you know, go, woe is me. So,
Well, you know what? I understand that, but being vulnerable, you know, just letting it all out, you know, doesn't make you any less of a man, doesn't make you any less of a person because of that. You know, we're here for you, man. You know, and yeah, and I get it. Like, and you don't want to, you know, you don't want it to affect, like how you were saying earlier about, you know, when we're talking about all the Weinstein stuff, you know, don't let it's not, you know, what you experience, is just how you deal with it. And when it comes to that, you know, I totally understand that, man. But don't be afraid to be emotional. Like, it's okay. We're here for you, man. Yeah, because if you bundle that up inside, it's going to eat you alive.
I kind of added to my inventory of personal shit that I've had happen. But you know, it's like I believe, and everyone's said this to me, and it's not so much that I'm bundling inside. It's more, I believe that there is certain points and times I do have my moments when I've allowed myself to feel the grief that is needed to be felt. But I believe that the moment will present itself where I could just sit back and decompress and just let things flow as they will. But when I'm in the height of things, you know, I got stuff going on with the business. I got stuff with my daughter and stuff like that. There's you know, there's a time where you can slow down and feel these things, and then there's a time where you've got to kind of put it on the back burner and do what you have to do and be responsible. And it goes back to what we talk about with the way that the world is and the kids in this generation, is that everyone wants to sit back and wallow in these things and feel sorry for themselves and get people to feel sorry for them. And I've never been and never will be one of those kinds of people. I'm going to keep on moving and just let, you know, let life keep on going. And, you know, I'll take my time. I'm going to go down to New York. I'm going to visit some family I haven't seen and, you know, address those things when I get a chance. But for right now, I'm going to do what I got to do and take care of my responsibilities I have to take care of. And then, you know, when the time is right, I'll I'll grieve in the appropriate fashion, I guess. So
Yeah. Well, I respect that, man. Seems like you understand yourself very well, and I respect that, man.
yeah, and it just speaks to. I was saying earlier, and I was thinking a lot about it during my shift, waiting for people to eat King Hobbs and Shaw. I was thinking about the fact that how great this community is, how great all the DeFi panelists are, that I'm able to kind of be able to be like, okay, I got things to do, and keep myself going where it would have been harder before. And that's why I like everybody who comes into these talks, and I love everyone on this panel because it would have been a lot harder a couple of years ago. I would have had a lot more time when I was slowed down, but having people go, you got this or whatever, it really helps. So, thank you everybody. I appreciate you. But LB's got his lonely thought, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. So I'm gonna start.
Yeah, there are literally crickets in the background.
Yeah, there's a cricket that fucking snuck in here, and he's like a little ninja. I've been searching for this cricket. Loker jumps out on the table, knows I'm streaming.
Whoa.
Right now.
General Zod and his X-ray vision can't find a cricket.
No, man, he's smart. He hid in like a little fucking Tupperware desk thing. I couldn't find him.
I'm calling bullshit.
True story.
No, bullshit. No, this is the crowd just being like, boo. No, I'm kidding. I kid, of course. I'm sure PB has really wrecked you on this.
And that's not what tonight's crowd would say. Tonight's crowd would say, moo.
Moo. Yeah.
Oh, moo. Moo. It's like, oh, and cows disagree with me.
Exactly.
Man's girl says the Russian cricket is infiltrating, and Scott says Kryptonian cricket ninja. Matt's mama bear says smarter than the average cricket.
Kryptonian cricket, though, that would just kick your ass.
Only if he's from the House of L. Anyways, let's start with the Lonely Sheriff. Lonely Sheriff, tell us about your channel, new stuff you got coming. Hit us.
Well, I released a video earlier talking about John Campea because he said 10% of Last Jedi haters are racist.
Motherfucker.
How do you come up with a 10% number? I don't know, but I talked about that. I got a couple more Florida Man videos and what's coming up. I'm not too sure. I'm still trying to figure out this YouTube thing and figure out what people like to hear from a lonely man. But yeah, my channel is The Lonely Banter. You can come visit if you'd like. Thank you.
Nice. And of course, the proper one on the panel, the proper of the proper army, Proper Jeremy. Go ahead and tell them about your channel and all the great stuff you got coming up.
There's a proper army now.
No, it's the Jer Army, or maybe it's the proper army.
Also,
there are a couple others, I guess.
Properist.
I appreciate that, miss.
Properist.
Well, there are a couple of other propers, but that's for another day. Anyways, hi, my name is Proper Jeremy. You can find me at youtube.com/properjeremy. Follow me on Twitter at Proper Jeremy. Thank you very much for having me on, Lee. I do appreciate it. I do enjoy having you on. I mean, you, after all, were a part of the trio that is still, one of my most viewed videos. The Cobra Kai discussion, and I can't thank you enough for that, because I know we could talk about that. All the three of us, me, you, Mary Mayhem, could talk about that all day.
Yep, he couldn't thank you enough, and that's why he couldn't help but disrespect you by calling you Lee.
Oh no, did I say that?
Yeah. It's like you let some mist get into your brain.
I thought it didn't. I thought
It's difficult for that not to happen. You can't blame him for that.
I'm sorry. I saw a Lee in the chat earlier and I got confused. I legitimately saw a Lee in the chat. Was that you?
No, that was we were talking about the iterations of the name of the artist formerly known as. So,
Oh, okay. No, because I remember literally seeing it in the chat and I got a little confused. Maybe.
and now let's go to someone who needs to come on my channel more. And we're not talking about cow rape.
You mean she needs to come in the fandom zone?
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's a
The sarcasticness.
I'm not even. It's 4 a.m. I woke up 20 minutes ago. How long have I been on here? I don't even know. I came to hang out, man. I don't care about my channel. If you want to subscribe, do it. I don't care. Lee.
Yep. She woke up 20 minutes ago. She'd been on the panel for 35.
And of course, the commander, the general, the curator, number 2 general. Yeah, he got promoted. And
what?
Of course, yeah, that's how we work in the fandom zone. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just throw labels out there. The person who helps keep this shit show afloat, Mr. PD. Go ahead and tell them about all the new great videos and stuff you got.
Just say PD.
No, I said PB. What? Where did you get PD from? Like,
you.
No, he's just waiting for you to fuck up so he can point it out.
I swear. Okay, I go on.
It wouldn't be the first time that he misspoke. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm PB. You can find me at Pop Culture PB on YouTube and on Twitter. I do videos about Marvel and Star Wars, and I do High Council highlights. Who knows what the hell's coming next? There you go, Zod. You like that? Is that a good enough plug for you?
Oh, you also gotta let everybody know.
Because proper Jeremy told me to do a video like my Oreo video because it was gold. So then I asked, what do you mean by that? And then he never responded to me.
Oh.
He's a disaster.
All right, we getting sidetracked here. All right,
I know.
Sheriff got to step in. Everybody got to check out Mad Squirrel's YouTube channel. She's at 92 subscribers. She likes to review She likes to review old black and white
we're gonna
movies.
get more tonight.
Hey, relax. She likes to review movies from the golden age of Hollywood. So I would suggest you take them out. They're about 20 minutes long, and if you're into that type of stuff, check out and subscribe. 92. I want to see her get to 100 subscribers before the end of next week. Make it happen.
Follow her on Twitter at SGT Mad Squirrel.
Yeah, that too. And Lee, do your Fandom Zone thing. Come on, let's go.
Oh, LB, now it's affected you.
Is he gonna do the long one?
Go ahead, General
Zod. You
Zod.
have been on the Fandom Zone with General Zod.
Hey, speed it up.
And actually, I've got a lot of things to plug. So first of all, definitely go check out the little end thing at Thomas's stream. You get to hear Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, D-Day Cobra, say how much General Zod sucks. And
you heard that.
Yes, I did. Also, I have some exciting stuff coming. I'm going to be doing a little special thing tomorrow. You guys get to see. And I'm going to have a certain panelist here on the Fandom Talks. Maybe it'll be someone who talks about pop culture. We shall see. And I've got some other special stuff planned, so definitely come and check it out. And as always, remember the rule here on the Fandom Zone. Kneel before Zod.
No.
I'm not sucking your dick, dude.
Okay.
Sorry,
oh my God.
What happened?